Okay, here's our first geometry lesson via video. So this is reflections over the diagonal lines. So there are two main diagonals. Those two lines are y equals x and y equals negative x. And the line y equals x is the positive diagonal, which means it goes up from left to right on a graph. And the line y equals negative x is the negative diagonal, which means it goes down from left to right on the coordinate plane. So this first one, we're going to kind of figure out the rule that happens here. So quadrilateral ABCD, which is this one right here, was reflected over the line y equals x, which is this line here, to get quadrilateral EFG. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this to determine the rule. So we're going to start by writing the coordinates of A, B, C, and D. So A is at 4, 2. B is at 6, 3. C is at 9, 1. And D is at 6, negative 1. All right, so those are the coordinates for the original shape. Now we're going to write the coordinates for the shape after the reflection. So the coordinates of E are 2, 4. The coordinates of F are going to be 3, 6. G is over here, and that's 1, 9. And H is negative 1, 6. Okay, so look at these. What happened between this point and this point? And then does the same thing happen between here and here? And C and G? And D and H? Okay, so when we reflect over the line y equals x, you take the points, the coordinates of the original points, and you switch their order, and it gives you the coordinates of the new points. Okay, so then for y equals negative x, we're going to do the same thing. A, B, C, D is our original point, and then E, F, G, H is the new figure. So we're going to get the coordinates for A, B, C, and D. So A is at negative 4, negative 1. B is at negative 2, negative 2. C is at negative 6, negative 2. And D is at negative 4, negative 6. Okay, now we're going to get the coordinates for E, F, G, and H. So E is at 1, 4. F is at 2, 2. G is at 2, 6. And H is at 6, 4. All right, so now here, we're going to look at see what happens between A and E, B and F, C and G, and D and H. So if you look, A starts out with both of them negative, and in the order 4 or 1. But in E, they're both positive, and they've switched orders. So when you reflect over the line y equals negative x, you switch the order and change both signs. So our rules here are on the back. So for y equals x, you switch the places. And for y equals negative x, you switch their places of x and y and then change both of their signs. All right, so first we have to graph our original shape of x, y, z. All right, so there's our original shape. This is where I'm going to use different colors so that we can see what's happening here. So our first one is to reflect over the line y equals x to get x prime, y prime, and z prime. So we just set up here that to reflect over y equals x, we just switch the places of x and y. So x prime is going to become -2, -5. Y prime is 4, -3. And z prime is 1, -1. So we can just graph these points and we'll have reflected over y equals x. All right, so there is that shape reflected over the line y equals x. So our next thing is a translation of 3, 6, which means we are going to the right 3 and up 6. So we're going to move each point to the right 3 and up 6. So 1, 2, 3. So there is z double prime. And then 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 6. And 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so now there is the double prime shape. Now we're going to need the coordinates of this shape in order to do C, because it says reflected over y equals -x. So the coordinates of x double prime are 1, 1, y double prime, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 1, 2, 3, are 7, 3, and z double prime are 4, 5. So now we're going to change their order and change their signs to get triple prime reflected over y equals -x. So x triple prime is -1, -1. Y triple prime, -3, -7. And z triple prime is -5, -4. So now that we have those points, we can graph them and have our fourth shape. And there are the 4 shapes for that set of transformations. All right, so let's go to the last one here. We have to graph our original rectangle. All right, so there's our original rectangle, and we are reflecting the first time over the y-axis. So we're starting here and reflecting it over the y-axis. All right, so that's the shape you get when you reflect it over the y-axis. So we go ahead and write those points out. G's at -2, -1. H prime is at -7, -1. I prime is at -7, -4. And J prime is at -2, -4. And now to get double prime, we're reflecting over the line y equals negative x. So remember, to reflect over y equals negative x, we change the order of the point and both of their signs so that this one becomes 1, 2. H double prime becomes 1, 7. I double prime becomes 4, 7. And J double prime becomes 4, 2. So we can go ahead and graph those points so that we'll have our double prime shape. Alright, so we have G double prime, H double prime, I double prime, and J double prime. Alright, and then our last one is to translate that shape negative 8, 12. Which if we go to the right 8 and up 12, it's not going to fit on our graph. So why don't we make this negative 8, 3. So that'll fit on our graph. So we're going to move all of these points to the left 8 and then up 3. Alright, and there we have our triple prime shapes. We have H triple prime, I triple prime, J triple prime, and G triple prime. And that's all of our notes for today.